Hello, I'm Umbrenero and welcome back to Umbrenero's Life. This video is working on an art collection, part 4. So we're on to the second half of the Chaos in the Light collection that I've been working on. And yes, my camera was being very difficult while I was getting stuff started because it just didn't like all of the white background. And I will admit, I probably made a slight mistake while I was doing this half of the collection because, again, I ran out of my white paint and I made it too thick. I was just having a day with this. But this is the second half of this collection, and I can say that all of the paintings in the collection do have names now, and they have turned out pretty neat because while it's wet, it looks one way, but as soon as it dries, it changes a lot. And in this part of the collection, the two greens that I ended up using here, they looked pretty similar, but there is a difference between them, and just seeing that difference, it has a different feeling. And yes, I was trying to use gloves this day because I actually nicked my finger on something, so I was trying to be as clean as I could, and I was having a day. But the color, the canvas in the background there, I decided, like, with the acrylic pours I'm doing, that those canvases that are going to be laying under them are my piece of this collection, because I want something to be able to remember the chaos that happened. And it just fits because it's like, I don't need things perfect. I like having chaotic things occur. And this canvas in particular was one where I did not put enough of my white on because it did not want to move at all. But I did get some really neat looking effects from these canvases, and just how each one has its own individuality compared to the others. I just enjoy it. But yes, that one section of white was being very difficult and not wanting to move. And I try to do as little intervention as I have to, but in this case, I needed to a little bit. But I might have found a better ratio for my acrylic pours now. We'll have to see. But there's some other methods I want to try, and it'll just be fun. So we're on to the next canvas. Like, I had previously figured out where I'm setting each individual canvas and all of that, and I knew where I wanted it to go, so that way there was room. And yes, I was trying to kind of corral where the drippings were going at this point, because it's like, I really like that reddish color, so I wanted that to be somewhat visible. But on to the next one. And this is where I started realizing I am almost out of my white. So I was trying to be as cautious with it as I could. And realized that I needed to remix my blue. But it happens. Like when I do the initial adding color into the base, that the way it just goes, it looks really neat at first. But it takes time. This one luckily didn't need as much intervention, unlike certain other ones have. And it makes sense as to why. But because the white was so thick, it was not wanting to cooperate at all. But that's where it's like, alright, we're going to use the drips to fill in the spots that needed it and go from there. And kept on going. Like, I really liked that bright spot for some reason, so I kept trying to keep that clean and just didn't let it get as bad as others. But you can only do so much. And now for one of my favorite ones from this entire collection. Yes, I'm biased, but I like purple, and I just really like how this one ended up, because it had some very uniqueness to it. I do wish the white would have spread a lot better, because that could have made some very interesting patterns. But I do enjoy how this one turned out. It is a favorite, but so is the dark counterpart to it, because that one also turned out very interesting as well, especially once it dried. Luckily, this one only needed help in a few spots and not a lot of major areas, unlike other ones. But it worked, and I was able to get it finished with very minimal additions. And now for the last colored one for this collection. And this is where I knew I was really in trouble when it came to my base. I used most of it here, of what was left. Added in the little bit of pink. And, well, the rose color, as it said on the label of the paint. And started getting that spread around, but I knew for sure I was in trouble here because I still had one more canvas I had to do, which it was going to take a little bit of hope of getting it done correctly. And this one I knew was going to need the help because of how little white ended up in it. But it ended up giving it this very interesting look. And yes, the top, there was not enough paint here at all. So that's where I was trying to catch as much as I could and then use that to help shift things. And this one was a little more difficult. I will openly admit that. Luckily, the little bits I added, they blended right in pretty well. So I wasn't as upset about that one. And then it's like, for this last one, I need to switch gloves. Well, switch glove, because this last one was going to be chaos. Like pure chaos. So the base color for this one is still technically white. I am saying that right now, knowing how this dried. And I will admit, I was trying to get as much pouring medium out of the bottle as I could. Like, I only had a little bit left. It didn't really help much. So I got to the point right where I was scraping the cup to get out every bit I could. And this is all the white base color I had. I didn't want to spread it around to make it move and all of that. But one of the things from the beginning that I wanted to do was the opposite base color into the base for each collection, because black and white, the lightness and the dark, they're always with each other in some form. So I was being extremely cautious of this one and trying not to let it go over the edge too quick. And yes, the black took over this canvas very, very quickly because of the lack of white. And it's like, all right, I know I'm going to need to help certain areas of this one, so it's like, help it wherever I need to. That meant catching the paint on my one hand. I was catching the paint. And just seeing how much the black ended up overpowering here. Like, I'm not fully done with this collection yet. I still have some final touches I want to put on them. And you'll get to see the dried versions of these. But they ended up drying in very unique ways. I can easily say that because I was not expecting how some of this dried. Like, there were things that ended up looking so different than from when I poured them from what you could see here. And then here I was just playing with the canvas a little bit because it's like, all right, I want to get these to somewhat blend, but I want that one specific spot to still be visible, so I kept that spot visible. But it is what it is, and just I am excited to finish this collection once I am at that point, and we're almost there. Like, I just have to do Chaos in the Dark, and then it'll be the final touches for both of them, and then we'll have 2 collections done. So, thanks for watching, and if you could like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. Again, thank you for watching, and until next time, I am Umbrenero. Bye!